Uh, uh, Mm, 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 mm. All right, all right, all right. Everything is set. Okay.
What are you really insecure about?
What am I like, just in general, or is it still on this topic?
Like, what's like your deepest insecurity in general?
Jesus.
This is like when women find men being vulnerable. This is what they do.
It happened. You're right in real time.
Hold on, can we just stop right there? Like, there's this like whole idea like dudes don't be caring about love that much, but you're telling me that's number one on the list?
Yeah.
As a quick aside to that, something that's so funny that both feminists and red pillars completely miss. You understand this, Abra, right? When you talk about an incel, right? An incel actually doesn't have anything to do with sex, right? It's actually about finding somebody that loves you. I think when I think of ABBA, this might be offensive to you, you can tell me. I think of ABBA as like, in some ways, aggressively...
It kind of gives me like a little Mr. Girl PTSD.
I'm gonna be honest.
Yo, this girl's giving me a bunch of firsts today. She compared me to Mr. Girl. She just refers to me as Mr. High.
I think a lot of people do a really good job at intellectualizing away things that they feel. And if you're aware that that's a really bad thing to do, that is probably like a protective factor against falling into other people's kind of traps. That if you find yourself regularly in relationships, like romantic, professional, friendship, whatever, if you constantly find that you're in these types of relationships that are making you feel bad constantly, and you're always trying to put your finger on it, or you're always trying to morph or change or whatever, then that's probably a person that's more susceptible to these types of people.
Yeah, this is probably true. I think you're right that there's some sort of like deep self-doubt. But the thing is, I kind of feel like people exist on a spectrum. Like I want to be like, oh yeah, I have great access to my internal state. But if you're put into, like, I think people underestimate the power of environment. Because like most people haven't been in like a radically altered environment where like the rules of social interaction are changed. And I'm saying it's like quite humbling, I think. I think like a lot of people who are like really resilient in the current culture like would not be if you just changed them.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of like the meme I always say is that like people will talk about self-esteem, but I'll say like self-esteem doesn't mean anything when you've got a huge support network. It just means you've got a huge support network. And as soon as you tear that away, a bunch of people that, you know, consider themselves as being very high in self-esteem might actually have absolutely no self-esteem. It might just be the case that you dramatically need that support network to kind of like build you up and make you feel confident about yourself.
Right. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the stuff that you've been talking about and dealing with, like people being mad at you or whatever, like a lot of the things feels reminiscent of like the frame control stuff.
Yeah, with some people, definitely. A lot of the, I feel like a lot of the rape culture stuff, sex stuff, I feel like a lot of that, and abusive relationships in general, I think a lot of that plays into frame control stuff. People tend to just...
Rape culture stuff?
Like the ways that people can kind of like subtly pressure women into like sex or uncomfortable environments, I think. Yeah, I think a lot of that, because people use, for what you're calling frame control, I think people use like the really broad term of like gaslighting, But I like the presentation. So there's something you said in your article that I think is really important, in that I do feel like a lot of people do stuff like this. I say this a lot. I feel like people that do stuff like this is not really a conscious or intentional process. Like they don't sit down and think like, I want to say this because I know it's going to make her feel like this, and then I'm going to do this. Actually. I think that that's like exceptionally rare. I think most people just have like adopted ways of being very manipulative in a very implicit fashion without like being aware of it even.
Yeah, have you read Elephant in the Brain?
No. Oh shit! Somebody, you did though. Somebody in my chat when I was reading this last night. I think somebody in my chat literally said, "I think it feels like she just read Elephant in the Brain because something was like it felt like really inspired by that." I don't know if that was true if you read it before or after, but somebody in my chat mentioned that.
I actually haven't read it.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then. Okay, I guess it's a similar concept. But I feel like I remember somebody in my chat reading that last night. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think like I'm vaguely familiar with the book, which is something so I might be butchering it, but it's something like it's really difficult to lie to people, and so you have to kind of lie to yourself first, like evolutionarily.
Sure.
So we we convince ourselves that we are actually feeling things that other people will want us to feel because we can't be like at odds with ourselves.
Can you give me an example of that? That might be really difficult, but I'm just curious for what you're talking about.
Like if you really want to make somebody happy because they want sex from you, then you're going to convince yourself that you do in fact want sex. And this is technically lying to yourself. But like in order to lie to them, like, oh yes, I want to have sex with you, you first need to convince yourself because you don't have the conscious experience of lying.
Oh, sure. Do you think that the convincing of yourself is convincing yourself of the actual thing itself, or that that's like a second order thing? So for instance, like a wife whose husband really wants sex from her, but she hates it, instead of convincing herself, well, maybe I do want sex, instead she convinces herself, I need to be a good wife, and a good wife would want sex, and she takes like that avenue through doing it.
Yeah, that seems also a thing that people do. Yeah, you just have to be congruent. Like people really don't enjoy
cognitive
being congruent
dissonance
with themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't like let it become conscious. Like if it becomes too conscious, you can't function anymore unless you're a sociopath.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of like inconsistencies that people will try to like patch away or lie to themselves about or cope essentially with.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you for reading my article. I'm glad you did it. I wanted you to, and now I got what I wanted.
Wow. What a... Yeah, never mind. You've heard the joke. Yeah. Nice manipulation.
You call me a bitch?
No, I was gonna call you a frame controller. Do you still run into people in the communities that you hang out in where you feel like this is something that comes up pretty often, or?
I think it's quite rare. I feel like I've only met maybe a handful of people who've properly been frame controlling. Like I don't think people just casually do it. Like I think people who are like really regular frame controllers, like they have their own air because like they have to be controlling the frame in order to function. So you find people who are around to them are like either like aligned with them in some sort of deep way or they're not. It's like very binary, one or the other. And so this is why you often see them in cults, because like all the people around them are in the cult and thus aligned with them. Like you don't find like a nice general spectrum of disagreement.
No.
Yeah, true. Damn, fuck. Well, I didn't really have any questions. I thought it was all pretty, it was pretty self-explanatory. Are there any other thoughts or anything you want to offer up in relation to anything, or?
Talking?
Huh?
Do we suck at talking?
Well, no. Like I largely agree with you. I think that the I feel like I'm pretty hyper aware of like a lot of implied dynamics between people. And I end up feeling crazy sometimes when I talk to my audience about things, because I feel like sometimes there are a lot of boundaries that I assume are... Wait, sorry, somebody ran. Oh, there are a lot of boundaries between people that I assume are kind of like implied. Ayla, why the f is your microphone feedbacking? I hear it. It's triggering me. What's going on? Sorry.
Your mom triggers me.
What happened? Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to scream at you, but that's your fault.
It's okay. No, you can scream. It's okay.
Okay, thanks for making a safe space.
That was nice screaming.
Oh, okay. I just rattled myself. Oh, I run into a lot of problems with like implied boundaries, and I don't know if we've talked about this before. I still haven't fully figured out if I should be making some things more explicit, or if I'm dealing with like actual bad faith actors in terms of how people approach boundaries sometimes. Here's a quick example. I don't know. I'm assuming you don't follow anything in my life. So here's like a quick example that just popped up. Okay. So there's like a content creator that I'm kind of friendly with. We've hung out a few times. We talk sometimes, not super close. His name is Sneeko. You've heard of this guy, right?
I've heard people say that name.
Okay, you've heard. He does like red pill travel the world content right now, basically, and he's like in with all the red pillars. Okay, so something that he's done a couple times on some podcasts. So for full context, when I decided that I wanted to fight the entire world of Muslims, he messages me and he's like, "Hey, do you think I can tweet this?" And it's like DMs from my wife asking him if he wants to do content or whatever, right? Nothing sexual, but he's like, "I want to DM this and like blow you up basically, and it'll look good for like the Muslim people because he's like trying to be Islamic or whatever." And I'm like, "Yeah, go for it. It's funny." So he does.
Why does this look good for the Muslim people?
Why what?
Wait, why would this look good for the Muslim people? I think I lost a point.
Oh, because he's quote unquote converting to Islam, and all the red pill people want to like suck Islam right now really hard. So if he can fight with me while I'm shitting on Muhammad, it makes him look good in their eyes.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, that's a complicated interaction, but so yeah, he tweets out a joke about my wife being in his DMs. I make fun of him for cuck shit, some stupid shit involving his past. We go back and forth. It was just one interaction on Twitter. It was both funny. We okayed it with each other. Whatever, it's all good. Okay. Good. Okay. So
cool.
Now in the future,
Right.
Something that he's done is he goes onto podcasts. Okay, he's done this at least twice, where he's gone onto a podcast and he has dramatically reinterpreted that situation. Where when he's on these shows, he's saying, so they'll bring me up, and all of these people hate me, like, "Oh, that blue-haired fucking cuck Destiny, right? You remember that guy, that cuck?" And he'll be like, "Oh yeah, something that's so weird. His wife is in my DMs, And I'm like, I don't even know how to handle that because they do like some open thing, and like I gotta get advice. He's making it sound like my wife is like trying to f him behind my back, basically, right? And he does this on at least 2 shows. And for me, it's a little bit irritating because it's like, first of all, that's a lie. Secondly, he's not joking. And thirdly, this is just like more ammunition that's being used against me. And then fourthly, when I talk about him, I like rail on his ideology and stuff, but I never like go personal. I'm not like making personal attacks about him or his relationships. So then I bring him on to chat about it today, or he comes in to chat about it today. And one of the examples he gives is he say, "Oh, well, I should be able to bring up this thing about you and Melina to me because you go in on my friends like Andrew Tate about sex trafficking." Now in my head, that's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But then I run into these issues sometimes where people are like, "Oh, like you made fun of this person, so of course they're gonna like go in on your open relationship because I like criticize a political position."
Okay.
And I guess sometimes I feel like there are certain social boundaries where it's like I feel like it's obvious that this is something that you probably wouldn't cross, or it seems like there's like an obvious delineation here between like this type of attack or this type of attack. But I feel like a lot of people seem to have trouble like figuring that out, or I'm just autistic. I don't know. Say something.
Is there anybody who's doing this who's like capable of having a rational discussion with you about it on a meta level?
I don't know.
Because normally I would just be like, you should just have a rational discussion with them on a meta level. But it sounds like maybe
I did today.
Not an option with this population.
Yeah, I mean, I did that. I just did that with the Sneeko guy like 2 hours ago. But again, he kept bringing up examples. So like, for instance, so he's making up the thing about my wife, and then he's saying, "But you made fun of my girlfriend," which I did, a girl named Zena, but it was because she called some Jewish girl that she kicked out of a show. She called her a Zionist, and I was like, wow, that's like that was kind of weird. And he's like, "Well, you made fun of her for anti-Semitism," and I'm like, okay. But in my mind, like those two things aren't even remotely similar to him pretending like my wife is trying to fuck him behind my back.
Like because it's ideological as opposed to lifestyle?
Yeah. Or no. I wouldn't even care if he attacked my lifestyle. It has to do with like, I guess it has to do with like personal attacks, like personal information. So like, for instance, if he said like, "I hate Destiny's lifestyle," like that's fucked up. Like I would never do anything like that. Versus like, "Oh yeah, like the relationship that him and his wife has, like I know that it's horrible and blah, blah, blah." And then to like make up lies about it. I feel like there's like a different bend on like the personal hits versus like ideological, even if the ideological ones are lifestyle related.
I agree with you, obviously. But I'm like wondering what's going on in their mind to do this. Like, I wonder if the whatever sort of framework he's operating on is like where all beliefs are personal or something. Like maybe that's why he considers it equivalent. Like in his mind, you having some sort of like making fun of somebody for a thing that they believe is like basically equivalent to him like making up lies. Like it's like operating as
yeah,
wars.
But then I'm trying to think like, do people really believe that? Because another example he brought up was like, "Well, you're shitting on Muhammad," and a lot of Muslims consider that a personal attack. And I'm like, really?
Really?
It's hard to tell sometimes, I guess. It's also complicated because we're all like public figures and all that shit too. It's hard to tell like how much is like, do you really believe this, or are you just saying this to like save face or something too? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I would recommend here is just like asking him a bunch of questions to find the actual crux, but I'm not sure if that's possible.
Sure. I mean, yeah, we kind of did, but we started to live a little bit, but yeah.
What happened?
Well, I mean, I guess we're like okay-ish now, but I mean, I think he kind of apologized. He said that he won't make those types of comments anymore. But I guess in my mind, I have a really hard time with this. I don't know if you have the same problem. I always say that like I don't like apologies. I don't care about apologies because in my mind, the issue is more like if you're the type of person to do a particular thing, it just makes me look at you differently. Then I don't care if you apologize for it. Like if I you and then I'm like, I'm really sorry. Like why the fuck? Like you wouldn't want to be near me because I'm a rapist. Or like if I say like, oh, Ayla's like disgusting and I hate white people and all, and you're like, well, that really hurt my feelings. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like you wouldn't want to be like, I don't understand like the apology framework. I've never gotten that unless it's like something somebody legitimately doesn't know about.
Fuck apologies.
Yeah, like if I make a dad joke about you and your dad is like dead like yesterday, then that's like legitimately, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Like I can understand in some cases, but like for the vast majority of cases, like apologies to me are so stupid. Or I don't know, I don't get it. Yeah, but. Or I shouldn't say stupid. I'm sorry. I just like fucking autism triggered my audience by saying that. But
I actually think I just like apologies for like a slightly different reason. Like apologies kind of feel ritualistic. Like what actually changes? It's like some sort of like ritual being like, I'm going to try not to do this again thing. But like, why not just say that? I don't know. It feels weird. Like,
yeah, I feel like a lot of people just want like
parents ever.
Go ahead.
Yeah, when you're a kid, your parents tell you to like. Oh, go apologize to that person. And you're performing some sort of ritual to like now the social fabric is mended, but it's like just a ritual, and it seems like there's way more genuine ways to do it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Do you know the YouTube channel of world fame ABBA and Preach?
That's so cringy, bro. Don't do that.
The guys that have the creaky floorboards and they give the hilarious reactions on YouTube, over almost 2 million subs now, I think. Yeah. That's him. He's ABBA of ABBA and Preach. The ABBA.
The worst part is you. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I'm not familiar, but it sounds cool.
It's very cool. I'm sorry. What were you saying? What do you want to say?
Yeah, Destiny, you'd be such a shitty wingman is actually crazy. That is the most awkward introduction.
That wasn't awkward at all, dude.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
Hey, ABBA, how fast do you type?
How fast do I type? I think I've done the test before. I just couldn't remember what my score was, but I think I was like slightly above average.
Nice.
Why do you ask?
I'm just curious about who, like the typing, like speeds in Destiny's orbit.
Okay, he's another solar system. Okay, he's not an orbit. He's not an orbiter, all right?
Oh, how do I know who's an orbiter or not?
It's complicated. There's like a whole system to figuring that out. The thing is, sometimes people can interpret it negatively because orbiter makes it sound like you're like reliant on me for a career, and he very clearly exists outside of my influence. So,
are you my orbiter?
Absolutely not. If anything, you would be my orbiter because I've read 2 of your articles on stream now. So,
I might have misunderstood earlier, but it sounded like you were uncomfortable with the fact that you're like drawn to power dynamics in terms of like people being stronger, or maybe I misunderstood that portion. Is that accurate?
He's talking to you, Ayla. I think because you mentioned earlier that you were like highly susceptible or very cognizant of hierarchy. I think he's referencing that comment.
Yeah, like how does that manifest in your day-to-day life when you say that? Is that like in dating perspective? Is that work perspective? Is it just friendships? What is that?
I think like a bit of both. Like I think I'm like quite interested in having power in general, which I think like comes from the thing where I'm like very like aware of power and then feel like I'm like easily swayed by it. So I want to have more of it so I don't get swayed by it. So I'm like very interested in like having influence or money or whatever, which I think probably everybody has, but I think I'm like more explicit about it than most.
Prior to having money and or like recognition, how did you get it?
How did I get power before I had power?
Well, I mean, money and fame are one form of it. There's a lot of different forms of power, so I'm sure your quench or your thirst for it existed before, and most people are resourceful, find different ways of getting it. So,
well, I mean, just like doing weird sex stuff. Like I just have a bunch of sex shit go viral. I don't know. You just like take what you have and then you just do creative things with it.
Or I think like prior to being like an internet
that's
figure.
That's a macro scale. That's more of a macro. I'm talking about a micro scale in your personal life, but beyond like because I think anybody who has a thirst for power is probably going to showcase itself beyond just work and accomplishments. So my question is, like, for you in your own personal life, like, let's say with your familial relationships or things like that, how did you get power?
I think on a micro scale, I don't really do it that much. I think I'm more interested in like creating structures where people value me from afar, and then I don't particularly interact. I think this is, for example, why I like writing more than I like talking. Like interactions, like kind of feel uncomfortable with power dynamics when it's live, but I like creating valuable content and then having people kind of like me and then walk up to me later on and then be like, Ayla, I like you, and I'm like, sweet. That's great, I enjoy that, but I didn't have to go through like an awkward like micro interaction in order to make that happen. I think like I'm like pretty averse to the micro interaction.
If you didn't feel awkward talking, or if you didn't feel weird about it, don't you think you would probably like it just as much as writing? I think there's probably just your own mind, maybe some part of you that's like, maybe I sound stupid, or maybe I'm not getting the reaction I want, so maybe I shouldn't be doing this and I should just stick to writing.
I really like the power, but there's also other incentives present when I'm having a conversation with someone. Like, I think I have like the empathy kick in, and I have like a desire for other people to also be very expressive and powerful. And so like those things sort of outweigh the desire for power, and so it doesn't feel it. Like usually when people meet me in person, they comment on how like quiet and small that I am often, unless I'm like I don't take up much space.
Oh, gotcha.
Whereas, and they're like, oh, they notice, oh, this is very different from you online, where you seem like very loud and vibrant and take up a lot of space. And I'm like, yeah, it's very different. Do you take up power in personal interactions at all? Yourself? Like, I'm curious about why you're asking.
Well, I've been told I'm fairly like intimidating to people, like personal dynamics, or that I can be, I don't know, just kind of hard to read. And so I think for some reason that gives people like a bit of uneasiness around me, which is interesting. I probably do subconsciously without like cognitively wanting to take it. You know, I can be pretty assertive in most situations if things need to get done, or if I feel like I take power just because sometimes I feel it's more efficient. But beyond that, I don't really care. Like, I'm perfectly fine being in a room and just shutting the up. I come in Destiny's VC all the time and don't talk and then just leave. So it's like, I don't need to take up space, but if I feel like it's just better, then I will sometimes. So do I do, but I don't necessarily crave it that much. No.
What are you really insecure about?
What am I, like, just in general, or still on this topic?
Like, what's like your deepest insecurity in general?
Jesus.
Yeah, this is like my deepest insecurity. It's a good question. Give me a minute to think about it.
Okay.
What's yours, Ayla?
It's not clear. I think usually it's something like I'm really insecure about people thinking I don't care about them, because I think some part of me believes that I don't, in a way that like has to do with attention.
Is this in relationship, or in relation like personal romantic relationships or friendships especially, or?
Especially friendships. Like recently I was talking with someone and we were circling, so we were saying honest things, and I said, like, I had an outburst. I was like, man, I like really want you guys to be curious about me. And somebody responded like, well, I feel like you're not curious about me. And that felt like a stab to the heart. I was like, that's like some sort of deep thing where I really feel uncomfortable with the idea of having an identity as somebody who is not like curious and interested in others.
Interesting. Gotcha.
Well, simultaneously wanting other people to be curious in herself.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really uncomfortable with that.
That's fair.
What's your deepest insecurity?
You know, I'm too good for them. I just don't have any. I'm truly, I don't know. It would probably over something like, I'm such an internally driven person. It's hard to imagine.
I have a prompt which might help.
Go for it.
Okay, like, can you, imagine a large series of statements that people make.
Mm-hmm.
They don't necessarily have to be true, but they're about you. Like, what is the statement somebody could possibly make that would feel like it stabs your chest the most?
I think when people like misrepresent what I believe, I think that's probably the most irritating thing. I don't know if that's
irritating. I want knife stabbing.
Knife stabbing.
Like, how are you most afraid of being seen?
Slap, 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 slap.
By everybody, or like
By your friends.
Yeah, Destiny, struggle like I'm struggling.
True. We're just, me and Abba we're Sigma males. We're on another level. There's very few people whose opinions I think could influence me. But I guess, like, depending on the domain that I associate with somebody with, if it was a domain that we had some sort of like mutual respect or relationship for, if I found out that that wasn't the case, that would probably hurt the most. So
like they were like actually way smarter than you, and then they were just humoring you this whole time.
So, yeah, kind of like that. So like, let's say like Melina's my wife. If I were to find out she's talking to somebody and she's like, oh, like Steven, like I don't love him at all, he's actually kind of a fucking loser, like that would probably hurt. It's like, oh shit, well I do love you, like that sucks. If I find out that you're like talking to friends, you're like, Destiny is actually like not a good type, I've been hustling him the whole time, that would probably hurt, because like really. I think that like, yeah, or more seriously for you, like if I found out that you thought that like, oh, Steven, he's actually like really stupid, but you know I talked to him because he's got blue hair or something, right? That would kind of suck. So yeah, I think that's for people that I have like some sort of mutual respect for in a given field. But like for instance, like if you said like, oh, Destiny, I think he's a shitty musician, I wouldn't give a fuck, because we don't relate to each other on that level, you know. It would just depend on the area that we connect on, and if I feel like that connection is not as mutual as I thought that it was. If that makes sense.
It sounds super relative, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think it's all relative. That's an issue that I'm having a lot of trouble with people. A lot of the stuff that I feel is relative. There was a friend, so like I gave that Sneeko example earlier. He's technically done stuff that's like pretty bad in terms of shit talking me, but there have been other people that I've kind of cut out of my life for making way less bad statements. But the reason why is because I had them at a different kind of level in my mind in terms of where I thought we were for friendship wise. So like I would cut them out quicker. So like I think Abba, no fuck, Abba wouldn't be a good example. Somebody that I'm like John, do you know who John Zerka is? Or there's a guy in my stream called Karantos, okay? He comes in a lot, we chat, but we like argue a lot. If he was on his stream and he was saying shit like Destiny is the dumbest motherfucker in the world, this guy's not well read anything, this guy's blah blah blah, we would still talk and have fun, because I'm like, that's like the relationship we have, is very adversarial, right? But if you were to say something like, oh yeah, like actually Destiny is actually really stupid, like I think a lot of things he said he just doesn't know much about, even if he said the like not as bad as what he said, it would hit differently, and I'd probably not talk to you anymore. Does that make sense at all, or is that like totally crazy? Wait, is she thinking about this, or did her internet disconnect, or?
I think she might have disconnected.
Oh, thought I was getting some huge. I thought she was thinking through an amazing response.
I was also waiting for her to respond. I'm like, that was a pretty good answer. I'm good. What she gonna say?
Well, nice. You.
What happens? Why I was telling you, man. When women find men being vulnerable,
true. It happened. You're right in real time. Where's Myron? I'm going on Fresh and Fit tonight.
Bro, she almost fucking baited me into like revealing my deepest insecurity, only her to just floor you. And now I'm like, this is why I don't be trusting these women.
Exactly.
I understand the red pill way more.
Especially white women.
Wait, you can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. What's up?
What the f? I touched literally nothing, and it just stopped.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying such good shit too.
Oh wait, you're actually answering my question? Oh well, wait, repeat what you just said. Yeah, what is the answer to my question? Sorry. I hold radically different standards for different people, and then you were going to say something very insightful.
I was just saying it's interesting that the way that you approach this question seems to be very relationship based, whereas like the way that I approach the question is very like there's like a single internal state that is like the worst one.
I think that so this kind of relates back to the Frame Control article a little bit. One of the ways that I grew up was very, 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 very independent. So I have a lot of like, I've got a high internal drive for how I view myself, how I view the world, and then how I interpret things. So I think it largely, I'm not going to say infinitely because nobody's perfect or whatever, but I think I'm largely inoculated from a lot of like strange social pressures. Obviously there's still going to be things that irritate me when people lie about me or people shitpost on my subreddit, but it's not causing me to have like these severe like crises where I'm like self-doubting or I'm getting like manipulated by somebody or falling into somebody's like control like that basically. So as a result of that, when somebody asks like, well, what would hurt you the most? The way that you phrased it is like what like a perception that people could have. A perception that people could have isn't ever going to hurt me because I generally just wouldn't believe it. Like if publicly people are like, oh, he's stupid, like I know I'm not stupid, I don't care. So that's why I have to generally go to personal relationships to go like, well, what would hurt me?
Okay,
if this particular person
maybe I phrased it slightly wrong. Like there's some way where like imagine like what way do you not want to see yourself maybe?
I mean, I wouldn't want to see myself as like stupid. I think intelligence is something I value a lot, or like unreasonable.
That was going to be my guess about you.
Sure, yeah.
Because I think you're probably much smarter than most of the people you talk to.
I mean, it depends, but I mean, like for where I want to be in life and who I'm trying to be humble. Yeah, yeah. I talk a lot of retards. Okay, true. Yeah, okay, yeah. I do talk a lot of retards. True. Okay, all right. Yeah, I am. Okay, yeah. But like, regardless of like it's easy to be like king.
Very relationship based. Whereas like the way that I approach the question is very like there's like a single internal state that is like the worst one.
I think that so this kind of relates back to the frame control article a little bit. One of the ways that I grew up was very, 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 very independent. So I have a lot of I've got a high internal drive for how I view myself, how I view the world, and then how I interpret things. So I think it largely, I'm not going to say infinitely because nobody's perfect or whatever, but I think I'm largely inoculated from a lot of like strange social pressures. Obviously there's still going to be things that irritate me when people lie about me or people shitpost on my subreddit, but it's not causing me to have like these severe like crises where I'm like self-doubting or I'm getting like manipulated by somebody or falling into somebody's like control like that basically. So as a result of that, when somebody asks like, well, what would hurt you the most? The way that you phrased it is like what like a perception that people could have. A perception that people could have isn't ever going to hurt me because I generally just wouldn't believe it. Like if publicly people are like, oh, he's stupid, like I know I'm not stupid, I don't care. So that's why I have to generally go to personal relationships to go like, well, what would hurt me?
Okay,
if this particular person
maybe I phrased it slightly wrong. Like there's some way where like imagine like what way do you not want to see yourself maybe?
I mean, I wouldn't want to see myself as like stupid. I think intelligence is something I value a lot, or like unreasonable.
That was going to be my guess about you.
Sure, yeah.
Because I think you're probably much smarter than most of the people you talk to.
I mean, it depends, but I mean, like for where I want to be in life and who I'm trying to be humble. Yeah, I talk a lot of retards. Okay, true. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Mama kisses baby's hair. Mama llama goes downstairs.
To be like king.
Let's go.
Llama, red pajama, read story with mama keep the baby hair. Mama, llama, go downstairs. Llama, red pajama, feels alone without his.
Like this guy is pretty stupid, but he's like good enough for YouTube. Like that would suck, I think.
Yeah, I think I kind of feel like this. Like for most of my life, I was the smartest person, and then I met like actually smart people, and it's uncomfortable.
Sure, it's like when you step out of high school into college, and it's like that first experience of like, oh shit.
Not that I would know, but yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Abba, what's your greatest insecurity?
I had to think about it, but I think I came to the conclusion that my greatest insecurity is feeling useless. And I think by proxy, that would probably mean I don't feel worthy of love.
Damn, that's good.
Yeah. I actually had to think about that one. I was like, wait, why? And then I was like, oh, I think I know why.
Like, you kind of struck me as like, just based on my extremely limited experience talking to you in the last 10 minutes, you struck me as like quite like full of testosterone, which made me think you were gonna have introspection.
Full of testosterone.
You do seem a little bit more aggressive than the average person I would expect in this space, I will say.
Okay, full of testosterone. I appreciate that. I think they're both compliments.
Yeah, I think testosterone kills you earlier, but yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Also leads to like just a much better quality of life, though. Pretty confident.
Yeah. I did the rankthings.io game, and I have a master list of what people rated as most important in their life, and men rate living 100 years longer as more important than women do.
But how important did they really rate it in general? I don't think too many people think that's really important.
For men, you don't think so?
I need to pull up the list, but I'm afraid of freaking up my computer.
So they rated it higher than women did, but what was the percentage that rated it high, period?
Well, so rankthings.io isn't like a percentage, it's just it's like an ELO system for pairings.
Okay.
And so you get an ELO score for each thing, basically, which roughly represents how much.
But how high was the ELO score in general for wanting to live that old?
Well, I mean, I don't know the ELO score. It was more like the ranking. I think it was like rank number 6 6 or something, or 7.
What, can you tell me what is ahead of it, just so I have an idea of how to gauge this?
I'm just like I have to. Okay, I'm gonna try and pull this up. If my computer explodes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
It'd be like 1 percentage point off, but like nobody really cares because I don't think most people want to live that old.
I do. Well, I'm sure they're
I
thinking.
don't believe you would.
We're thinking healthy lifespan. We're not thinking like you live 100 years in a frail, bitter state where you can barely crawl.
I don't know too many people who get to 100 and look healthy. Like,
Yeah, I don't know anybody that's lived to 190. It's hypothetical. She's saying live 100 years longer, I think was the question, than you normally would. Wait, right?
Okay, yeah, it was number 11. Do you want to hear men's list?
It was number
Women's
11?
list? Yeah.
Okay, that's really low. Okay, but yes, hit me with the list.
Okay, so this is men's, from the most valuable to the least, or like the top 20 or whatever. Number 1 is be loved,
Yeah.
and be able to love.
Hold on, can we just stop
10.
right there? Like, there's this like whole idea like dudes don't be caring about love that much, but you're telling me that's number 1 on the list?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's pretty amazing.
As a quick aside to that, something that's so funny that both feminists and red pillars completely miss. You understand this, Abra, right? When you talk about an incel, right? An incel actually doesn't have anything to do with sex, right? It's actually about finding somebody that loves you. But it's funny because red pillars will give you advice on how to hook up when if they wanted to just somebody, they just get a prostitute. They want like the love and care that you get from a relationship. And then feminists are like, oh, they just want to like women and they objectify women, blah, blah. It's like, well, no, they probably just want to find some way to get like that type of like, that close relationship with the opposite sex. Yeah.
Absolutely.
As a whore, I agree.
Based.
So this is one sentence. Carry on.
Okay, so it's be loved, be able to love. And then the third is a committed, stable, long-term romantic relationship. Men and women's top 3 were the same. This is the same for both men and women.
Oh, cute.
Women's number 4th is a tight-knit, loyal friend group, whereas men's number 4th is the internet.
Based.
Then men have a tight-knit, loyal friend group, and then under that is a fulfilling, active sex life.
Yeah, I have to can I just ask, is there a selection bias here, potentially for the people that said internet? I gotta ask.
There's probably is a selection bias where it's going to be not what I want to do. Not turning on my camera.
I'm gonna be honest with you. All the men I know in reality would never say internet at number 4. There's no way.
Yeah, we are measuring people on the internet, so.
Okay, cool.
But we are also measuring women on the internet, and women ranked the internet much lower. They ranked it 7.
Fair.
Careful, you're gonna run into one of Ayla's biggest triggers if you're not.
Wait, what's that?
The selection bias thing.
Oh, okay.
I don't mind selection bias criticism, but it's usually so stupidly applied. If it's not stupidly applied, I'm fine with it.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So I applied it stupidly.
so-
You call me out.
No, so far it's okay, because the internet is obviously a very clear thing, because we're doing this survey. Okay, but so men prefer a fulfilling, active sex life more than they prefer not getting their thumbs cut off.
Yeah, thumbs are unnecessary for sure.
Yeah, compared to sex. And then it's also above, then it's have perfect mental health, and then instantly gain $5 million tax-free, then ability to listen to music, then you never need to get tired, never need to sleep, the ability to read minds, and then men have extend your life 100 years.
Yeah, that shit don't sound boring at all. I feel like that was way down on the list. Well, how many options were there?
Like 100?
Okay. 100
You
options?
can play it. It's super fun and easy to play.
Okay. Gotcha. Interesting. So what did you gather from the data and the results? What were some interesting conclusions that you came up with after doing this whole thing? All right. Perfect answer. I honestly didn't think it was that insightful, so I was like, I'm glad we came to the same result.
Oh my god. You bullied her out.
That's what I do, baby. I'm gonna say this, man. Oh, she's back. Cool.
I was just asking if you could have one but not the other, would you rather love or be loved?
Love or be loved? Be loved.
Why?
Because
Why?
I think I could still make someone happy even if I didn't love them.
Jesus.
Damn.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think for me, service is kind of natural. And so even though I wouldn't feel that emotion, I think the desire to want to do things for my partner is kind of still not natural. Whereas I don't know if the other person could have that same capacity. So I think for it to function, I think they would need to be able to love.
There's that testosterone again.
You keep saying, I've never heard anyone say this. I don't even know what that means.
It's just like, you feel like very classic male to me. Like, do you score really high on gender tests as a male?
I don't even know what that is. Let me Google that.
You don't. We don't need to get into the whole debate over what a man is.
Be left.
Nice.
Pull her out.
I was like, perfect. Gotcha. 100
You
options?
can play it. It's super fun and easy to play.
Okay. Gotcha. Interesting. So what did you gather from the data and the results? What were some interesting conclusions that you came up with after doing this whole thing? All right. Perfect answer. I honestly didn't think it was that insightful, so I was like, I'm glad we came to the same result.
Oh my god. You bowled her out.
That's what I do, baby. I'm gonna say this, man. Oh, she's back. Cool.
I was just asking if you could have one but not the other. Would you rather love or be loved?
Love or be loved?
Ew, no. I'd rather fucking gain sexual fuck it.
Be loved.
All internet are perfectly targeted as the
Why?
ability to wear pants.
Why?
Because I think I could still make someone happy even
Ability
if
to
I
see
didn't
2
love
seconds
them.
if you're comfortable.
Jesus.
Damn.
Yeah. Don't get tired, now need to sleep.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think for me,
Ability to
service
make
is kind of
people prove
natural.
themselves only
And
with
so
using your
even though
eyes.
I wouldn't feel that
Appearance
emotion,
stages
I think the desire to
at
want to do
half
things
the
for my
normal
partner is kind of
speed.
still not natural. Whereas
ability to do psychedelics.
I don't know
all
if the other
here
person
also.
could have that same capacity.
Psychedelics
So I
were
think for it to
shut
function,
up,
I
what?
think they would need to be able to love.
There's that testosterone again.
Oh,
You keep saying, I've never heard anyone say this. I don't even know what that means.
It's just like, you feel like very classic male to me. Like, do you score really high on gender tests as a male?
I don't even know what that is. Let me Google that.
For the illness
You
of
don't. We don't need to get into the whole debate over what a man is.
full
Wait, what is
General.
a gender test? I've never heard
Yeah.
of that before.
Okay, I thought you already knew this. I thought you
I
were
have
quiet.
no idea. Well, I mean,
This
I'm
one
gonna.
is a bit
Oh shit! I was
tougher.
something
there's 36
transphobic. My bad.
questions.
Never mind. I was gonna say I have a dick, but maybe that doesn't mean anything anymore. Never mind.
If you could
There's 36
have
questions.
one,
I'm gonna try to do
not
them.
the
Wait.
other.
What is it called? Gender test?
So I Googled on Google, and that's what it showed me. This says gender role test. Is that the one that you're talking about, Ayla?
I don't know. There's just a bunch of them. I was saying, have you done any of them?
Okay, you're on ITER Labs, right? Question 136. Well, now we're
Yeah.
taking this. So fuck you, Ayla.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, fulfilling act of
Question 1.
shit, I
Tender.
love
Wait, is this
fucking
how
women.
tender you are?
Ideally, you want a test that is like comparing
I mean,
you
it's
to
like
actual
good
distribution.
regardless.
Like men and women actually answer questions
could
differently,
have
and you
one,
want
but
one where
not
it's like
the
asking
other.
you the questions that are most
Okay, fulfilling.
different.
Okay,
between men
well,
and women.
this is drawing on the work of Dr. Sandra Lipsitz Bem.
Ability to see.
Okay, and
Okay.
Uh,
a
it's
doctor.
important to note that their work has been tested in several countries and has repeatedly been
don't
shown to have
get
high
tired,
levels
you
of
never need to
validity and
sleep.
test-retest reliability.
Okay, you don't get tired. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Cool. Good
Introverted.
for her.
I don't know what tender means. You kind of
I
have
would
to be a
double
little
check
bit. You're not like treating a woman like a
Double
bro. Is this like tender towards your friends or
Yes.
towards your... I'll just say this in the middle.
Feel
Fuck it.
perfectly rested and energetic.
Oh my god. You're ahead
One
of
third
me.
of the way in.
Jesus, you're on question 12? Okay. Soothing. Absolutely.
Sorry,
I don't know what
I'm one
perfect
quarter
mental
of the-
health means, so I
Avoids
have
What
5
is
hours of
mild?
sleep.
What the fuck is
Could
that?
have
Loyal?
one
I think I'm
level alone.
really loyal. Hell yeah.
Are mild?
Please,
Do I
IQ
agree that I'm
plus-
mild?
Are you?
You're not mild. I don't think so.
IQ.
Let me
Male.
Google what that means in this context.
Yeah, let's go
Ability
hard.
Not
Very- Very
severe,
physical.
Very happy.
gentle, not easily provoked. Okay.
Personality.
Read.
Mild.
Oh no, I'm very mild. What are you talking about, Ayla? Just because you think I got that testosterone, don't mean I'm not gentle.
I can be moody. I'll do that.
Eat.
Likable?
What do
Pretty
Also, can you,
Yeah.
when you say testosterone, you say basically more traditionally male?
Have 10 children, your genes being
Well, usually you're more aggro.
or romantically
Aggro. Okay, gotcha.
Devoted.
involved.
What do you mean
With your
devoted and
genes being
loyal?
raised by other
Jealous.
persons? No.
Well, I'm telling you. Defends own opinions? Hell yeah.
Are you a cuck like Sneeko? Definitely not.
Stop! I disavow.
I don't give a fuck
disavow.
what you do. Make it clear it's Abba who said it,
Yeah.
and fuck him. Next question. Secretive.
I feel like I'm being surrounded by men right now. I'm having a very strong
Ability to
like
murder.
gender
Fuck
sensation.
Okay.
When it comes to your aversion
Play, I
or
don't
like
care
your
about
interest in
orgasming
power
other
hierarchies,
fucking
is that something you
people.
find endearing or not?
Go to space. Indoor heating and
Wait, you're
air
talking to me or
conditioning
her?
ability.
Polite? I can
Okay,
be
I
polite.
appreciate that answer.
Again. Damn, you're just destroying her. Oh my
I
god.
want air conditioning.
Oh, I
I
love
want
kids.
ideal
Whoa.
temperature. All plants
Affectionate.
flourish in your
Yeah,
brother.
I'm pretty affectionate.
Have an incredible singing voice.
Are you
My
likable?
voice is
Disagree.
already
I'm super
decent.
likable,
I
okay?
don't care about an incredible
You better
singing
put
voice. I
strongly
like
disagree,
plants.
bro.
I'm
You did
the
not
most
put
likable.
have
What do you
10 children
mean?
with your
I'm
genes
so
being
likable. What are you talking about?
You better
rather
put
have
that shit in the
You
red.
are
You fucking
clown.
liar.
I got so many friends,
your life
motherfucker.
is
You're
a-
crazy.
Ability to resurrect
Forceful? I mean, with what you did to laugh, alright, let's see.
Oh wow.
Ability to play
Nothing.
around
He's
with
being inappropriate.
permanently swap your biological.
Inappropriate comments right
I
now.
don't want to permanently
Oh, like a
swap
sex
my
joke?
sex, bro.
Yeah.
I'll have the internet.
A demeaning
Okay.
sex joke.
So there's like a
Ability to
row
feel
of
perfectly
creators
just ability
online
to
who
do it.
basically leverage their
Reach your
space
IQ
on their
button,
platforms
whatever
for
you
sexual
want and
favors.
say it.
And Destiny
Yeah,
was
yeah.
alleged to be part of this group of people.
Oh. Alleged.
Permanently.
Alleged?
This is what you do when you're a male and you have power. You just have sex with as many women as you can.
Stop. That's not what we do here. Okay.
I don't
I feel like this
give
is
a
her
fuck
joking
about the
tone,
good
and she
things
always
people
sounds
say
the
behind
same.
my
No,
back.
she's not joking. She's being serious when she said
Have
that.
10
Okay.
will
Okay,
kids in
okay.
action
I need to
life
hear
with
her
the
joke once just so
monotone.
I can fucking program my
Have a
head.
really
Because
cool
I thought
fuck.
she's one of those monotonous people who always sounds the same.
Ability to psychedelics. Nobody.
I'm mentally disabled.
Internet.
Okay.
No, she's fake. She's fake.
100
She's like
years.
Asperger's. It's the fake mental disabilities, okay?
Okay. Energetic.
I don't like
I was-
hugs.
You don't like hugs?
I'm 33% feminine and 97% masculine.
Grow any
Energetic.
penis you touch to
Let's see where
whatever
Abba's
size
at.
you want.
I'm gonna mog you with my blue
Question
bars.
25. Avoid cursing.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm getting shafted. Individualistic? Nah.
You ever notice that every time you ask Ayla a question, that's exactly when her internet drops?
I know.
On pizza,
It's kinda weird, isn't it, huh?
I don't want to allege any
getting
kind of
your
racial
thumbs cut
bias
off.
because I know she hates like.
A net loyal friend
Sentimental.
group.
What the fuck?
You know I hate sentimental.
Friend group.
No, sorry. These
I
questions.
like my
These
group.
questions are so weird.
Ability to summon people. Summon demons.
Ambitious.
I don't give a fuck about demons. Ability to smash.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I made a test. If you're into doing test line, I have a big one that I just released, and it predicts whether or not you're male or female.
Well, we'll see. What,
Yielding. Ooh, that's a good one. Let me Google that one.
yielding. Do you give in to the wills of other people around?
It's released test.
You guys finish it so.
Question
bars.
25. Avoid
I'm 33.
energetic.
I don't like
I was-
hugs.
You don't like hugs?
I'm 33% feminine and 97% masculine.
Energetic.
Let's see where Abba's at. I'm gonna mog you with my blue
Question
bars.
25. Avoid cursing.
You could have one but not the other. Own a car, know when you're going to die. I'd rather own a car. I don't give a fuck when I'm gonna die. I wanna know it. Live in a walkable city. Ability to complain. I like the ability to complain, bro. Have a bubble butt. Bubble butt. Boy. Oh, music for sure. Oh yeah, I don't believe in mental health. Okay. Ability to survive eating plastic, be loud. Ability to fight, be loud. Ability to permanently swap your biological sex. I don't want to swap my biological sex. Very physically attractive romantic. Ability to play the piano at a master level. Yeah, fuck yeah, boy. Music, boy. Ability to relieve mess. Ability to grow any penis or own a car. I don't own a car. Ability to feel this. Oh shit. Ability to read. Ability to have casual sex with a new person. The fuck? Cool, that's thing. fluent in another language, be able to love. I know how to love. I mean, won't be able to love. No, this is like a. If they're talking about relationship wise, I don't give a fuck. Simply become fluent in another language. Nobody you're romantically involved with ever gets. I think I'll get taller. Fuck yeah. Be to control. Be a porn star. Rather, yeah. Plants solution to grow them ability to rain. All plants follow this procedure. Yeah. I've been enlightened. The fuck doesn't mean anything. I'd rather have a. I mean, I can just flex with this at least. I don't know. Psychedelics. Be invisible to all bullies. Fuck veganism. Have a saint like kickflip boy. Now casual. Increase your IQ by. I mean, yeah. Be to murder anyone you want to extend your life by 10 children with your genes being raised. I don't care about looking into the future, bro. Have a really cool parrot, yeah. Indoor heating and condition. Job you like that. Hmm. I rather perform, yeah. Know when you're going to die, ability to get drunk. So, yes. Get tired. Now it's BDSM or the ability to wear shoes. Shoes, boy, what the fuck? Gain sexual presence. Yeah, boy. Friends of the celebrity, be innocent. I don't give a fuck about a celebrity. Gain sexual pleasure from the sensation of. Yeah, I'd rather have this. Have perfect mental health. Be enlightened. Bro, both are trash. Both are trash. The fuck was the shitty choice? Have a big bubble butt. Ability to have casual sex. Really successful. Casual sex. Eat what do you want? 2020. A job that pays you 3 times 2020. I'd rather be friends with the player. I don't go fuck about being trusted. Ability to read minds or own a pet. I'd rather read minds. Have perfect. I'd rather see into the future than have perfect mental health. Ability to do psychedelic, ability to mother anyone you want without consequences. Psychedelics, boy. Nobody you're romantically involved with ever gets jealous. I'd rather have a horror. Sorry. Need to read more than have a bubble, but a very physical extend your life by 10 years. Yeah. Easy access of hot water for the ability to see through people's clothes. Yeah, okay. I'd rather be a creep than suck my own dick. I mean, I don't care about that. Like, bruh. Ability to have a casual sex with a new person. Have it. Mm. You don't have let's read 400 good books. Ability to read. Okay, I have got it. Yeah. Music, bro. Be loved or good. Be loved. Again, sexual pressure. Have a neurotic. I've had, I mean, nothing like a good blood pump, right? Yeah. Have another set of eyes in the back of your have 10,000 followers in your preferred, bruh. I'll rather have 100k followers. Fuck that. Actually become a fluent, walkable city would be nice. 1,000 children with their genes being be extremely beautiful, handsome. Yeah. I rather have eyes in the back of my head. Could have one, not the other. Would I rather have okay? I'd rather have a pet than a smartphone. Honestly, I don't like. I mean, yeah, perfect health your whole life, ability to see through people's clothes, perfect health, have ability to grow any penis you want, prestigious. I mean, I can flex that. This bubble butt. Oh wow, nice. You could have one live alone. I'd rather live alone. All internet ads you see are perfectly ability to poop. Okay. Be friends with the celebrity. On a car, extend your life. How? Okay, we're at 90. We have 10 more questions. Okay. I'd rather have pizzas, ability to rest, feel perfectly rested and energetic after 5 hours of sleep. Uh, Nobody romantically involved with ever gets jealous. Yeah, okay. Ability to murder, ability to complain. Yeah. Uh, Live alone and instantly become fluent in another language. Yeah, I think I'd become a cool parrot. Yeah, man. Internet. Here are the good things people say behind your job. No, I'd rather have money. Have 2020 vision. 2020 vision. Cupid hit me with precision. Oh, into your face and it crossed my mind. I said, I said, sick of chasing. All the one that's always going through my daydreams. I'd rather live in a cool city. Even 1,000 easy access. I'd rather have kids. Have the details. Yeah. Not empathy. Fuck. That was okay. Yeah, I'd rather have. I mean, I don't give a fuck about pizzas. Ability to explainlessly perform oral sex. Ability to a single person of your choice. Uh. Hmm. Wait. Oh. Ability to result a single person. Yeah. I'd rather suck my own dick than fucking. Ooh. It's gonna be music every time, bro. It's gonna be music every time. Indoor heating and conditioning. The ability to wear shoes, the ability to be vegan, still enjoy it. Oh, does it just keep going? Is it infinite? Thought it was like till 100 or something. Because it stops at 90. Oh shit, I have to keep going. Okay. These are my top 10 then. These are my top 90. Who is it? This is that girl out there. Okay. Shy. Uh, Sometimes, I mean, I'm neutral actually. At this point, I'm neutral, not that fucking shy. Imaginative. Yes. Nervous. Sometimes compassionate. Affectionate. Sometimes ambitious. Happy. Bleh. Last seldom. Bleh. Forceful. Tender. Sincere. Sentimental. Yes. Likable. Helpful. I think I'm pretty helpful. I think I try to be helpful. Eh, 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 eh. Yes. Eh, eh. Yielding. Energetic. Soothing. Devoted. Yeah. Loyal. Yeah. Not afraid of this. I'm a bit afraid of this. Eh, uh, uh, Secretive? No, not really. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Oh no, 69% masculine? Bruh.
Oh, I'm getting shafted. Individualistic. Nah.
You ever notice that every time you ask Ayla a question, that's exactly when her internet drops?
I know.
That's kind of weird, isn't it, huh?
I don't want to allege any kind of racial bias because I know she hates, like, sentimental. What the fuck?
You know I hate sentiment.
It was a useless fucking thing I just did there, but fuck, bro. I think it's too hot. I think I'm done. I can't. My brain is dying. Getting fried. Okay, I shall commence this another time, or probably tonight. Okay, good night. See you tomorrow.